So I just had a prophetic dream about vaccines and about removing things from your house. And so I was prompted to put this video together for you. I have several clips that I want to share with you. And in no way am I saying that I know anything as a medical professional. I'm not giving you any advice about what to do about your health. What I'm saying is that you have to be educated. Now, with the children and the rise in all these ADHD, autism, various things, this begs the question, what's really going on? And so I want to show you this clip that Trump just put up, President Trump just put up in terms of the war that he's going to fight in this space. So watch this clip.
In recent decades, there has been an unexplained and alarming growth in the prevalence of chronic illnesses and health problems, especially in children. We've seen a stunning rise in autism, autoimmune disorders, obesity, infertility, serious allergies, and respiratory challenges. It's time to ask, what is going on? Is it the food that they eat, the environment that we live in, the overprescription of certain medications? Is it the toxins and chemicals that are present in our homes? Every year we spend hundreds of billions of dollars to treat these chronic problems rather than looking at what is causing them in the first place. Too often our public health establishment is too close to big pharma. They make a lot of money, big pharma, big corporations and other special interests, and does not want to ask the tough questions about what is happening to our children's health. If big pharma defrauds American patients and taxpayers or puts profits above people, they must be investigated and held accountable. When I'm back in the White House, I will establish a special presidential commission of independent minds who are not bought and paid for by big pharma, and I will charge them with investigating what is causing the decades-long increase in chronic illnesses. I understand big pharma, I believe, better than anybody else. I know where they're coming from. And then I will ask them to publish recommendations for how every American child can have a safe and healthy childhood. This is a conversation that is long overdue, and it's a conversation that American families deserve. American families must have this conversation, and they must have a leader, a president, who can do something about this problem. And I will do that. Thank you.
There is a group of moms and dads that are online right now, researching, telling you about all of the problems that their children are having, what's happening when they switch up certain things, when they remove toxic chemicals, when they remove heavy metals, when they remove all these different things that are in your system, in your blood, and what you eat, what you are surrounded by. And things are vastly different when this happens. Now, let's watch this other clip where Joe Rogan, who is not a Christian, but he's a very popular podcaster, and he talks about just connecting the dots. Listen.
A lot of the cases of polio that we talk about from back in the day, DDT was in widespread use back then, widespread use as a pesticide. And they were using DDT to kill bugs that they thought carried diseases. But the problem is DDT exposure is insanely toxic. Now we know that. Now DDT, they don't use it anymore in America.
Yeah.
But they still use it in other countries where polio-like symptoms are very prevalent. One of the side effects, one of the effects of DDT poisoning is polio-like symptoms. I think it's called encephalopathy. See what that is. DDT side effects.
We didn't have a lot of polio, I don't think, in our area.
Well, polio was something that was going on in the early part of the 20th century, you know, and it's widely credited that the polio vaccine is what stopped that. I used to wholesale believe that until this pandemic, and now I question everything. Now I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what the truth is, whether it's smallpox or polio. I have a feeling that there's a lot more to the story than what the general narrative is that we've been given. Is that vaccines are this amazing cure. I think there's a lot of other factors. And I think one of the other factors was hygiene. And the book is called Dissolving Illusions, and it's all about the origins of vaccines and what vaccines have done stop disease spread and what the negative side effects have been. And it's just like, there's a lot of negative side effects, man. And to pretend that it's safe and effective, like when you're administering things to millions, if not hundreds of millions of people, like there's going to be some problems, and they don't want to advertise those problems. And they don't want to make those problems publicly known.
I have chills down my spine right now talking about this because the Holy Spirit just allowed me to bring all these videos together just to get you to have a sampling of what's really going on. And until you experience it, until you see your children go through this, then you're not going to understand. I'm going to show you another clip right now. This was 2009 on Larry King. And this was Jim Carrey and Jenny McCarthy. And before people jump to conclusions about, oh, this person, that person, reputation, they're not Christian, all that stuff, just listen to what they're saying and try to grasp the idea and the desire to get to the truth about something, to get to an answer, and to start questioning the paradigm that you are living in about being told what to do, what to say, what to eat, what to digest, what to inject. Listen to this clip.
Go back to the 1989 schedule when shots were only 10 and the MMR was on that list. I don't know what happened in 1990. There was no plague that was killing children that we had to triple the amount of vaccines.
What happened after 1989?
The
Why did they triple? It warranted 26 more vaccines.
Greed.
Are all of them absolutely necessary?
Because they want to make money.
Of course. Back in 1989, the shot schedule was 10 shots given.
10 shots given.
When I was a kid, what do we get, 3?
It's twice as many as anywhere else in 30 countries in the Western world. But we give twice as many shots as any of those countries. Why is that?
If it's vaccination and you're not against vaccination, well, what are you against? Don't vaccinate for this, but vaccinate for that?
Yes.
I think we have to choose which ones are absolutely necessary.
You should educate yourself. We want to empower parents to educate themselves. Do we need to have the chickenpox? Do we need the hepatitis B shot on the second day of life?
I don't think we can afford to assume that the people who are charged with our public health any longer have our best interests at heart all the time. Parents have to make their own decisions. Educated decisions. They have to look at the information.
Space out the vaccines. Delay them till after 1. Clean out the toxins that are in them. We don't need that many.
When the other doctors are here, and they will be on the other side in a while after you leave.
Grab them and stab them, you mean?
That was one.
This is my nickname.
Well, what will they say? Why would a doctor not want to know more about something that could save a life or prevent a disease? I don't understand.
The AAP is financed by the drug companies. Medical schools are financed by the drug companies. This is a huge business. Vaccines are the largest growing division of the pharmaceutical industry. $13 billion.
They control medical schools. I mean, these doctors are not learning about prevention or vitamins or diet.
What we're asking is for them to take a loss for the good of our children. That's a tough sell in a boardroom.
And as a precautionary measure right now. You remove certain medications off shelves because they're deemed unsafe. Why not vaccine?
There's a global movement going on right now. Ever since COVID, or even before that, when people were sheltered in place, they were asking questions about their livelihood, about their health, and they were finding out things because the world stood still. Now, I'm going to show you this other clip. I don't want to say believe everything again, but take it with a grain of salt. But realize the point of this video, and there's tons of videos like this, naturopath, natural remedies, and just things for which when you think about what God did for society, for earth, he gave us the herbs. He gave us the fruits and vegetables of this period. You can go do a whole Bible study, research about what God gives for seeds, for herbs, for plants, for just this natural wildlife that we have before us and what it does, what it can do to your body. Barbara O'Neill is another person that talks a lot about, I just learned about cayenne pepper, what it can do for your health. There's a lot of natural remedies. Now, I'm not saying you should go out and just start eating whatever berries or bushes that are out there, but listen carefully to this video.
What do you see when you see weeds in the driveway? Let me show you what I see. You look down a weedy driveway, I actually see an apothecary or a medicine cabinet. Take dandelion, for instance. It's edible, highly nutritious, and has a slew of medicinal properties. It's a great detox herb. Every single part of the plant is edible and usable. So all in all, that's probably one of the best additions to your yard. Right next to that, we have plantain. This is broadleaf plantain. If you remember the term plantain for pain, this is a pain-relieving herb. It's edible. It can be eaten like spinach or raw in a salad. Highly nutritious, extremely good for your body. It's good for your digestion. It can help heal internal wounds, and, of course, it's a pain reliever. Just off the driveway, this is called sow thistle. This will have giant leaves or flowers just like a dandelion, and those thorns, when the plant is this small, those thorns aren't really very thorny. This plant is also super nutritious. It's a detox herb just like dandelion, and it shares many of the same properties. A little bit of wild violet. Wild violet is a medicinal plant. It's good for coughs. It's good for pain. It can be used internally or externally, made into a tea or a capsule. This plant can also help break a fever. It's been used for thousands of years medicinally, and it's actually a really good plant to have. Wild violet, we have another purple flower. There is Creeping Charlie. Creeping Charlie, also called ground ivy, is actually a member of the mint family. It is safe enough for young children and infants, strong enough for a full-grown man. It's really good for your digestion. It can be used for a wound healer. It can also help break a fever, and it's also highly nutritious. Close to our dandelion, we have chicory. Chicory is a great plant, very closely related to dandelion, though it has a purple flower and not a yellow one. Every part of this plant is also edible, and the root contains a compound called inulin, which your body absorbs just like insulin. Chicory also has the unique ability to be able to break the barrier in your brain that tells your brain you want more when people have addictions. They've actually used it for some pretty strong addiction-related illnesses. Further into the driveway, we have a plant that's called wintercress. Wintercress is popping up all over. It's one of the first edible plants that's available in the spring. The plant has a lot of medicinal properties. This is also a very good lung herb. It can help with pneumonia. It's antimicrobial. It's nutritious. And you can use it in many different ways. You can eat it raw. You can put it into a capsule, turn it into an extract, whatever works for you. Some burdock that's back in the back of the driveway. This plant is also highly nutritious. The leaves are very nutritious and edible. The root is very healing. It's anti-inflammatory. It's actually a main ingredient for a compound called Easiac, which is an anti-cancer compound. Really healthy. Next to that, we have what's called longleaf plantain, narrowleaf plantain. It is exactly like the other plantain I showed you, plantain for pain. It can be eaten the same way. It has all the same nutrients. All in all, this is a pretty good plant too. And then we have yellow dock or curly dock. It depends on what you want to call it. If the leaves are more curly, it's curly dock, but a dock is a dock. Here, dock, there, dock, everywhere, dock, dock. Yellow dock root has inulin in it, just like dandelion and chicory. It can be absorbed in your body just like insulin. It's anti-inflammatory. They're highly nutritious. You could cook the roots just like you would your carrots. But not least, or what's going to be, black-eyed Susans. These plants get very invasive at times. They are the large yellow and black flowers. They are closely related to echinacea. They have the ability to increase your T-cell production. They are an immunomodulator. Every part of this plant is also edible and highly nutritious. So that's what I see when I walk down the driveway. Maybe later, let's take a walk in the yard, and I'll show you the apothecary that's in the yard.
When you begin a journey of educating yourself, questioning the narrative, and asking yourself, what is really natural? What did God intend for us to do? Was it that pharmaceutical companies were to dictate every realm of your life because of the money? Remember, in Revelations, it talks about pharmakeia, the Greek word pharmakeia, talking about what's to happen and who's going to have this kind of manipulative control. Ask yourself these questions in terms of what's natural, what's really needed for us to survive, and for what God has given us in society. Educate yourself and begin to look at the things that God has provided for us. Prayer for us to live a life, a natural life that is dedicated to Him, not to other synthetic things and materials and medicines and these other things. So I'm saying this because it's a time of great awakening. It's a time for which you need to get off this train that you're on in terms of being succumb to what the government, with pharmaceutical companies, with these doctors are telling you. And again, this is nothing against doctors and pharmacists. What they're part of is a system. Remember, they don't know the cause and effect. They were taught. They were taught what to do, what to think, and what to say, what to prescribe. They have not sat there to assess millions of people and done the studies and to say, okay, what are the cause and effects? For someone to say this is safe and effective when the vaccine was not known, you don't know because it was new. You don't know what's going to happen 5, 10, 20 years down the line. Start asking questions, start using your mind and asking the Lord for discernment, asking the Lord, what should I do? And take an act of faith. Just because you don't vaccinate your kids, and again, I'm not saying you should do that, but if you don't do that, how scary does that sound? Or is that what God intended? How did thousands of years of babies survive up till this time? Realize that we are in a period of a great awakening, and it's going to get epic. It's going to get amazing. It's going to get good if you don't allow this satanic ideology to poison you, your children, your health, and this system, this pill system, this dependence that we are on today. So start thinking, start asking questions about what to do. I read the other day about cancer. You can fight cancer by fasting. Look it up. There's many things that we don't know. A lot of people don't know. But if you start doing the research, if you start asking these questions for years, decades, people have already known. It's just not in the mainstream media because you go to your doctor to be told what to do and what to say. So again, I urge you to pray, to ask the Lord for discernment during this time, and above all, trust the Lord with all your heart. I wore that shirt today, as you can tell. This is one of the shirts that I'm selling, as well as many other things, journals, notebooks, chrisyounstore.com. Please support me. I need all the help that I can get to try to get this up and running. Love you guys. Talk to you guys very soon.